Right now, in nearly every major city on the planet, the math behind buying a home has broken beyond repair. For generations, a simple rule defined housing. A typical house cost about what a family earned in 3 years. That was the benchmark. That world is gone. A sweeping global analysis of nearly 100 major urban centers has reached a startling conclusion. Not one single city remains truly affordable. In what we used to call normal markets, the average home now swallows over 5 years of a typical household's total income. And in the epicenters of this crisis, think Hong Kong, Sydney, Vancouver, that multiplier isn't 5. It rockets to 9, 10, even 14 times annual earnings. But to understand the true depth of the problem, you need to see where the math completely detaches from reality. In cities like Beijing and Shanghai, it's common for home prices to be 20, even 30 times higher than what residents make. This isn't just a market shift. It's the systematic collapse of a fundamental aspiration. The dream of homeownership isn't fading in one country. It's evaporating in all of them. And when that foundation crumbles, what else begins to disappear? As houses transform from shelters into financial assets, life-altering decisions get put on hold. People delay starting families because they can't secure space. They reject career-advancing moves because relocating is financially impossible. A generation is beginning to abandon saving altogether, asking a painful question: why save for a goal that's perpetually out of reach? The consequence is a societal paradox. The very people who sustain a city's teachers, nurses, tradespeople can no longer afford to live within it. So, how did we reach this point? Every year, a major housing affordability report acts like a global thermometer. It compares median home prices to median household incomes across 95 international cities. Researchers use a median multiple home price divided by yearly income. For a healthy, functioning market, that number should hover around 3. This year, the diagnosis was historic and grim. For the first time in the report's 2-decade history, 0 cities scored as affordable. The majority are now classified as seriously or severely unaffordable. And for the worst offenders, a new category was invented: impossibly unaffordable. Here, a median home costs over 9 years of median income. Topping that list is Hong Kong at 14.4 times income, with Sydney close behind. This pattern isn't isolated to famous hotspots. It's the new normal for entire nations. In Australia, the average city nears a 10x multiplier. In Canada, affordability has been in freefall since the mid-2000s. Greater London homes sit at 9 times income. Even the United States has seen its national average climb sharply. A city like Pittsburgh, at 3.2 times income, is now a remarkable outlier relic of the past. Just 30 years ago, nearly all these markets were within reach. What force ripped income and housing prices apart? We turned a basic human need into a global casino chip. The core change is a fundamental rebranding. 30 years ago, a house was primarily shelter. Today, it's a cornerstone of global investment strategy. This isn't unique to real estate. Over recent decades, the price of nearly all major asset stocks, land, art, has skyrocketed. Why? Because immense pools of capital from the wealthy, corporations, and large funds are searching for a safe place to land. When you have excess wealth, you don't buy more consumer goods. You buy assets. Housing became the prime target because it's essential, tangible, and easy to leverage. Demand was artificially supercharged. But what about supply? We deliberately restricted it. It began with sensible goals: preserving green space, managing urban sprawl. But these intentions hardened into a complex web of zoning limits, height restrictions, and arduous approval processes. These rules made building slow and land expensive. Housing ceased to behave like a normal market governed by the cost of labor and materials. Instead, prices began to reflect policy-created scarcity. Then, add in decades of low interest rates and a flood of global capital. Investors and funds realized real estate offered safe, appreciating returns. You didn't need to live in a property to profit from it. You just needed to own it. This transformed homes from dwellings into financial products. Meanwhile, what happened to the other side of the equation? Wages? They stagnated. For most of the 20th century, productivity gains lifted both incomes and living standards. Since the 1990s, that link snapped. Globalization, automation, and other forces capped middle-class wage growth. In the last 20 years, U.S. median real wages inched up only about 10%, while home prices doubled or tripled. There was another twist: the rise of the dual-income household. Initially, a second income was a path to a better home or neighborhood. But when it became the norm, the market simply absorbed that extra buying power, inflating prices to match. People had to stretch further into debt. Banks lent more against rising values. And a vicious feedback loop took hold. Bigger loans enabled higher bids, which pushed prices up, justifying even bigger loans. So, can this trend possibly continue? What happens when a system is this strained? The outcome is a profound societal shift. For millions, ownership is erased from their life plan. The average first-time buyer is now in their late 30s or early 40s. In cities like LA or New York, renters often spend over a third of their income just on housing. When people can't live near their work, they stop moving for opportunity. A counter-urbanization trend sees essential workers leaving major hubs, draining cities of the talent that keeps them alive. Productivity suffers, inequality deepens. Because while renters struggle, existing homeowners see wealth accrue passively, not from work, but from scarcity. The global value of real estate is now astronomically high. This feels unsustainable. So, what would it actually take to fix it? Is there a way out? Nations are starting to experiment, and the solutions point in two key directions. First, attack the supply problem. New Zealand now mandates cities zone enough land for 30 years of growth. In the US, cities like Minneapolis are abolishing single-family-only zoning, allowing duplexes and small apartments in existing neighborhoods. Singapore provides the ultimate template, treating housing as critical public infrastructure, with the government building at scale to ensure nearly 90% of citizens can own an affordable apartment. The second approach targets speculative demand. Places like Wales impose massive tax premiums on second homes. Taiwan levies steep taxes on properties sold within 2 years to deter quick flips. Some Dutch neighborhoods ban investor purchases entirely to reserve homes for residents. There's a growing movement in the US to block large hedge funds from buying single-family homes. The path forward requires both: building many more homes and rewiring the financial incentives that treat them as speculative bets. The core issue remains a tidal wave of capital, chasing a limited set of assets, leaving the middle and working classes stranded. Without rebalancing this equation, true affordability may remain out of grasp. If you found this breakdown valuable, help support this channel Wines of Thought by hitting the like button. It genuinely helps us dive deeper into the forces shaping our future. A home should be a place to live, not a lottery ticket.